Okay, so I liked where this was going, but I think I can improve the yeah, I think I can improve that hand slot there. So I'm going to go back into the sketch for it and redefine a couple things. I want this to be bigger. This I don't need. I want this, that's 4 already. Hang on a second. 0.17 inches. Ooh. Inches. Okay, I'll make that 6 then. And then I'll make this 3. Make it 4. And that can be 2. So that'll give me a more dramatic curve here. And then if I bring the point here a little further back, just a little further back, but still make it so that the inside is just barely under the 4. Right there. Okay. Okay. And then I can change this to be probably, if that was 6, I can probably go up to 3 even. Not 3. Two and a half is the max. Okay. That included the other one. Okay, cool. Now I can change this to be, I could give this, that sounds about right. So here's the improvements that I made. I wanted it to be easier to slide an entire hand of 7 cards into here. So I made it come out a little farther in order to give it the thickness for the 7 cards. I rounded this off in order to give this that thickness as well. I think another thing I can do, just might make this peel off, but it might not. Yeah, half. Okay. I think I like that. But I am going to go back in here and change this to be a little bit bigger. The reason why I'm making this a little longer is so that I can, when the card is in there, part of why this geometry works, right? This is based off of the geometry for the play zones in the Duel Blade, right? Part of why that geometry works is this curved shape, along with this curved like ramp here going up, kind of sort of bends the card a little bit. It doesn't bend the card, but it kind of, the idea was that it would bend the card, so that it would bend the card so that the card would be pressed into like this side, this better. But what it really does is this applies pressure from this side, and this applies pressure from this side, and it holds it in place, you know. Because without this going up, it doesn't have the pressure from this side, right? And it doesn't need the pressure from that side if it's really thick, or if there's a lot of cards in there, because if there's a lot of cards in there, it's thick enough to have a sufficient amount of pressure from this side. But if there was only one, right, then this doesn't deform very much and it doesn't provide very much pressure. But this, having this applies that pressure no matter what because it doesn't deform, right? So I need this to be bigger, right? I need this to kind of match this curve a little more so that it can so that it can be bigger and keep applying that pressure from its side. So I think this will be easier to get if I change this to 3. Okay, see that then starts applying to this edge, which I don't want. Okay, so 2.5 it is. Right? Let me go back into the sketch here and measure it. $21.3. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and measure this now. .56, and then I'm gonna just round things real quick because what I want to do is I want to get these numbers 18.84. All right, I want to get these numbers. I want to know these numbers so that I can put them in on the other one, on the other side when I need to, and they'll be the same shape. That way I don't have to develop that a whole second time, you know. I'm thinking, watch, I'm thinking this. I don't know if this is good or not. Okay, never mind. It just looked weird. Okay. So what I was thinking was that this was coming past this line and that maybe I wanted to truncate it off, but it isn't doing that at all. Which actually makes perfect sense now that I think about it. It just looks like that because of the shape. Looks weird. So yeah, bring these to before that suppressed feature. Now I can unsuppress the feature, which was a split, I believe. It was a plane, and then it was a pair of splits. And then if I get the bodies, get rid of this one, get rid of this one, and this one's the one that I need to export. What did I name this? Bottom test 2? Okay, I'm naming this third bottom test. Alright. Okay. And then suppressing all this. And can I move? I can, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Okay. So I will save here. And then I think that's where I want to leave it for now. I think that's where I want to leave it for now. I'm also trying to think if I want to I wonder if I want to bring up this middle divider here to past the top. The reason being, what would the reason be? The reason being that will give me a better separation between the deck and extra deck. I'm also not sure. You know, that would be interesting if I actually had it the other way around. If I actually moved it. If this was 20 and this was 40. Whoops. Okay, hang on. If this was the E-deck cavity depth and this was the deck cavity depth, right? So what I'm thinking is it might be easier for what I'm doing, right, for the extra deck to be on top of the whole deck. I'm not sure about that. I'm trying to think about how this would be shaped, because it would be angled kind of like, and hang on. I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like trying to imagine how it would be. Actually, no. I think it would be better for it to be the way I had it originally. Yeah. And then I'm not gonna have that be longer yet. Because I don't know if I want it longer. So I'm gonna save here. Oh, I undid all the stuff, so I don't have to save. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that new thing printed. I think it'll work better, but like I hope it'll work well enough. Because the idea here is that it's supposed to be essentially idiot proof, right? Because like I'm not adding that slot from the quick draw deck holster, because this you can just draw from. You could always have just drawn from the top, and it'll just be easier that way in the first place. So I don't know. Yeah, so I'm saving here. I'm going to print out that next test, and then I will see how well that works. Okay. Now to open... Oh, I was uploading things to the internet. Hang on. It's in 3D Fusion exports. Dual discs. Deck holders. New 2-player deck holster. Third bottom test. Okay, center that. Preview it. 36 minutes. Is that faster than the previous one? Or is it slower? I don't know. Oh, you know, I think it's faster because I have more curves on it. Okay, no issues here. I do believe that the very bottom layer is going to fuse. It always does when it's this close together. I don't mind that. I kind of like it because it does give it just that extra bit of squeezing. But like only the bottom layer ever fuses because the bottom layer gets squished. So the rest of it's probably not going to fuse unless it's extremely close together. But I don't think it's I think it's actually farther away than the other one, I believe. So yeah. It does look like it's a. Let me see. I'm gonna compare it with the old one. Bring that in just to see. And yeah, this one has a much more dramatic curve than this one. 1 hour and 10 minutes. So if I subtract 36 minutes from that, we've got what, 70 minutes? $34. Okay, so it's taking 2 minutes more than the other one. Which does make a little bit of sense because it is bigger. Looks good. What about that inside? How many? 2.5%. 4 lines. What happens if I do 2? Three. But then 4. Huh. Okay. I don't think it needs 4. I think 3 will work. What's 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 0.4 is 2.4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 0.4 is 1.6. Yeah, I want 3. 3 will mean that... Oh, wait, hang on. But that's 1.2. So that wall will be 1.2 thick if it's 3. It'll be the same thickness as this, which I like. 4 is kind of overkill for this. So I'm going to keep it at 3. I'm going to save it. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and print that out. Okay. I got the new one printed. Testing 1 card. And it works. Not going anywhere unless you shake very vigorously. Testing a whole hand worth of cards. Depth perception is difficult, but it works and not going anywhere. Just a few of these cards and it works, which is good. I'd like to see if I can do this at a different angle here. Yes, I can, quite easily. Okay. So this is the geometry I'm going to keep for this hand slot. And so the idea is when you need to put your hand down and fiddle with the deck, you stick it in here and then you pull out the deck from this same area. It could have been a bucket. I didn't want to make it a bucket. I like using this little clip mechanism. It's fun. So yeah, now I'll just continue to make it to make the bucket then. So I will go ahead and do that, because now I'm going to keep this geometry for the hand clip.